Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another video. So, in today's reading, we're going to be looking at what is the next chapter of your life, or what is the next era of your life that you're moving into, and just see what messages that spirit has for you, what kind of insights we can gain from, looking at the cards and seeing what comes through. So, as always, choose which card you feel most intuitively drawn to. There may be more than one that holds messages for you. And then click on the timestamps in the description box or in the comments. And then I'll see you for your reading. Just briefly, I want to mention that I've just released a new tape called Metamorphosis. So this tape is about the process of change, and especially kind of the process of change where we are in more of a liminal space or a void space, where we've sort of stepped out of an old life, but the new life that we're moving into may not have fully formed around us. Or if you have stepped into this new life, you might be still integrating aspects of it and anchoring that firmly in, like grounding that in. It's really helpful when you're in phases of transformation that can be uncomfortable, or where you have to surrender, kind of just like when you are in the cocoon phase, and when a caterpillar goes into the cocoon, it completely dissolves itself and it becomes like a mush, like a liquid. And I feel like that's kind of actually a process like that we go through as humans, where we go through periods where we have to kind of dissolve the old in order to become this next version of ourselves, this new form. And really also, this is something that I feel like the earth itself is going through as well. Consciousness evolution, where we're moving from kind of old earth vibes to new earth reality. And there's a lot that sort of takes place in that transition, and all of us souls are here. Sorry, I got a notification on my phone. All of our souls are here at this time for the new earth shift. So all of our souls here incarnate at this time, and children coming in at this time, we are experts at transformation. But transformation isn't necessarily easy. And I think that this time on earth really offers us some of the most expansive forms of transformation that really has ever happened. And I'm thinking about when I look at people's past life readings, and look, I'm not saying this is like completely black and white, because nothing ever is, but a lot of the time when I read into people's past lives, there's often quite a sort of continuity that exists within their lifetime. There's more of like, there's not so much these like huge incredible changes that I read in the past life. However, I feel that when I read for this present time on earth, there is actually so much like of a vastness in the energy field, and so much room for so much change to take place, for this metamorphosis to happen within ourselves, within our life, within certain areas of our life, within our identities, within our appearances. Whatever it is that you might be personally moving towards, there will be change available to you in this lifetime. I feel Spirit really wants me to say that with this take. Even if it feels like it's slow, or it's hard, or it's mysterious, or you're not sure how it's happening, trust and believe that it is happening. And like I said, karmically, I feel like the earth right now, incarnations on the earth right now, karmically, we're so much more free than many, many of our past lives. And we're so ready to shed a lot of karmic limitations and come into the new earth frequency that we're really all incarnate here for. If we are spiritual beings, this is what we're here for. So this tape will really help when transformation can feel slow or hard or painful, or can even break your heart. It will help when you're feeling like you want to keep going, or it will even help once you become the butterfly, right? Because there's like the certain phases of the caterpillar where you're taking in, and that's its own like phase. And the caterpillar phase, I feel like in transformation is often actually quite exciting, because it's like, oh, you're just so hungry for knowledge. You want to take in all of this sustenance, and you can feel that there's something growing within you. Like you can feel there's a new life coming in. And then you enter the cocoon, where everything dissolves, and you have to completely surrender, and you have to let go of absolutely everything in order to be reborn as a butterfly. But even in that rebirth as the butterfly, you're coming out as a totally different form. You're learning how to use your wings, even though it's instinctive, you know how to do it. But there can still be like things that need to ground, or identity shifts can take some time to fully integrate into every layer of our being. So whichever phase you identify with, this tape will help. And if you resonate with it, click on the link in the description box below. It's called Metamorphosis. You can read more about it and see if it's right for you. And I'm sending you so much love. Hello, Group 1, and welcome to your reading. So the next chapter of your life is going to be a creative phase for you. I feel you will have a lot of creative life force, and you're mastering something to do with the exchange of energy. I want to say the exchange of energy, where you take energy in from even like the sun, the source, like God, spirit, and then you output it towards creation. And there's something about this process where it wasn't always harmonious for you. There wasn't always a balance, because I'm seeing you're like fixing areas in your life where you were being drained. And my throat chakra is going. So I feel like this could be very much about, okay, so with throat chakra, it's all about authenticity. So it's like I see you aligning more in your life with things that are truly authentic for you. And then I'm seeing you sort of ending situations, dynamics, or relationships in which you can't be your authentic self, where there's no room for you to be your authentic self. Because sometimes it's just not the right vibrational match, you know? Sometimes it's not about just like forcing yourself to be authentic no matter what, no matter, you know, how it's received. Sometimes it's about like kind of choosing the right moment and recognizing like, you know, this person is not a safe person, so I'm not going to risk it all and be my truest authentic self with them. And I feel like you're healing from something where you've thought like, oh, it's just me, it's my fault, it's my problem, that I can't be like authentic with everyone, or that I can't, you know, shine my truest self. And I feel like there's something here Spirit's saying about the environment that you've been in. Like, it's not necessarily appropriate to go and be your truest authentic self if the environment that you're in is hostile, if the environment that you're in is one that is not actually oriented towards authenticity, if the environment that you're in is just not right for you. It's kind of like, Spirit always gives me the analogy of if you think about, we as human beings, as individuals, we have the right environment in which we will thrive in which we have all of our needs kind of taken care of us for us kind of naturally, like in nature. And it's just like if you imagine a freshwater fish and then you go and put it in the ocean in salt water and you're like, come on fish, just swim, you're in water. And it's like, yeah, but that water's not right for that fish. That fish needs fresh water. It can't breathe with all that salt. It's going to be poisoned by that salt. So there's something here about you've been in almost like poisonous environments that haven't been truly right for your soul, but you've been kind of like a bit harsh on yourself about it historically, where you've been sort of thinking, oh, well, I should just be able to be authentic, or I should just be able to keep swimming, or I should just be able to get my needs met in this relationship or with these people or in this workplace. And I think that this next chapter of your life, like you're realizing that you don't have to do that. You don't have to suffer and punish yourself almost for who you are. Like you can actually just naturally align with the right environment, the right people, the right opportunities, the right job, that doesn't have to kind of take things away from you. Just like a fish in fresh water who's meant for fresh water isn't really going to be thinking a whole bunch about the fresh water. They're just going to be getting on with life. And I feel like there's been this fundamental thing where your environment hasn't quite been matching what your needs are or who you truly are as a soul. And that's been very disruptive to your life force energy, to your energy levels. And I think that there's been a lot of issues with being drained by people, places, and things and opportunities that haven't quite been the right vibrational match for you. And I feel like this pattern has been held in place by you kind of thinking, oh, well, it's my fault, and kind of like blaming yourself and thinking, well, I should just be able to be authentic with this person, or I should just be able to be my true self at my workplace. And it's like, yes and no. Sometimes that's true and sometimes it's not. Things aren't always 100%. It's not 100% of the time rule. It's kind of like if you're with someone who isn't safe, who's not a safe person, then maybe don't go pouring your heart out to them. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a time and a place where it's appropriate and where it will feel good. Otherwise, there's just going to be this sense of like re-traumatizing yourself, where it's like you might be trying to reach a level of intimacy with someone who's not interested in having intimacy with you at all. So my throat chakra is really going. So this is hugely about you stepping into your power. I feel like throat chakra is really like powerful. And I feel you coming really into your power and really saying no to the people, places, and things that actually aren't a match for you. and really letting yourself start to live in an environment that's right for you, that meets your needs, that sort of like effortlessly flows with with who you really are and what you really need. And I'm getting the image as well, because this is like a cup here in this card. I'm getting the image of, like a bucket that has like a hole in it, right? And if you try to fill it with sand or you try to fill it with water, like a portion of that will constantly be draining out. And if there's many holes in the bottom of the bucket, right, then you fill it with sand and all the sand falls out at once, or all the water comes out straight out. And that's kind of how I feel like you've been living in certain ways. And it's been some kind of a karmic destiny for you to like overcome ways in which you've been drained, and kind of like putting up with situations, people, places, things that haven't truly been a vibrational match to you. And like I said, I feel that this pattern has been put into place, or has been kept in place, through you thinking that it's your fault, that it's your responsibility, that you should just be able to be better or be more honest, and then you would And it's like Spirit's kind of saying it's not your fault. These situations, it's not your fault. It's just that they're not quite right for you. And the more that you kind of let go and stop forcing and trying to like kind of manipulate yourself into a role that isn't right for you, or a relationship that isn't meeting your needs, the more you surrender, the more that these holes at the bottom of your bucket, so to speak, are going to get kind of like plastered over, and you're going to be able to fill up with more and more life force and more energy and more sustenance. You know that saying, that phrase, like having a full cup, my cup is full. I feel like you've been operating almost so long with this half-empty cup, with this cup where it's like, even if you start to get filled by the universe, by spirit, by source, because you're a very spiritual being, so you have access to a lot of life force energy, there are people in your life that may be draining it, or there's a job where you feel really drained by it, or there's some kind of a situation, and you've had this like, God, my throat chakra is really going 1, 2, 3, 4. The time is 1, 2, 3, 4 p.m. So there you go. It's like you've had some kind of a situation where, yeah, it's been really draining your life force, and you have had this like learned helplessness where you're thinking that it can't change, or that you can't change it, or that you can't just say no and like move on, or that there won't be anything else. Like I feel like there's been a huge fear. You've been really alchemizing fears around like, if I say no to this person, then I'm going to be completely alone. Or if I say no to this, I don't know, friend, then I'm going to have no friends. Or if I say no to this job, then I'm not going to have any money, and I'm going, everything's going to spiral out of control for me. And it's kind of been like, a lot of this is about your perception shifting. And I feel that your self-worth is coming back, like really in a massive way, like your self-worth coming back to you, and you really feeling like, wait, no, I'm worth so much better than this. And you really realizing like that it's been very uncomfortable for you to be in these situations. And I feel that in this next chapter of your life, you're going to be anchoring into such a deep level of self-worth that you're going to look back on the chapter that you've come from, and you're going to think like, wow, how did I handle that when it was so uncomfortable for such a long time? How did I not realize that I was worth so much more than that? And I think that it's going to be like quite emotional for you actually to look back at that and think, that the power was kind of in your hands the whole time, but it was sort of being distorted by this karmic limitations that you were going through, by this sort of like self-worth stuff that was sort of trying to heal within you. So whatever you've been doing, group 1, you've been healing at a really deep level. Your spirit guides want to acknowledge that and show you that this chapter is ending for you, and it will take a certain level of boldness and kind of like fierceness in saying no to things and setting boundaries in ways that I think you've been a little bit afraid to in the past, like I said. So I think that there will be people who can't come with you to this next chapter of your life, but recognize that that is a blessing. That is such a blessing, because these people are not a vibrational match to you. They may actually not even be safe people. Interpret that how you like, but I feel like they're not quite safe people for you, whereas you have this beautiful heart that deserves such love in return. And I feel you've been trying to kind of make it work. Man, my throat. You've been trying to kind of make it work with people who, I want to say, they don't deserve you, okay? I know that might sound harsh, but That's how it's coming through, okay? It's like they don't deserve your purity. They don't deserve your innocence. They don't deserve this pure love that you're giving because they're not giving it back, okay? They're not meeting you there. They're not meeting you there. They're not giving it back. And they're actually kind of like making you feel worse about yourself, okay? So I'm seeing this reorientation in your energy, this rearranging in your energy, and it comes from these like holes at the bottom of your cup or your bucket. I'm seeing like, a beach bucket that kids play with on the beach, and it has like all these holes at the bottom, and they can like kind of put water through it or put sand through it. That's what I'm seeing. And then I'm seeing like it being completely sort of plastered over so that you can have this like full up self, this full up like cup of like love and energy levels again. And you're kind of almost going to not even know what to do with it, group one, because you've lived, like I said, in this survival state for such a long time, like at least the entire chapter that you've come from, if not longer than that, if not your whole life even, because this feels like a really deep karmic clearing that you've been going through. And yeah, your spirit guides really want to acknowledge that you've been healing at a really deep level. Whatever you've been doing has been working. I would really recommend light language for this group because your blocks are so deeply subconscious that it might sometimes be hard to know. Like when we have subconscious blocks, sometimes it's hard to know, how do I work with this consciously? Like how do I deal with this block? Because it feels really elusive to me. It feels like I can't quite put my finger on it, or I can't quite look it in the face or look it in the eyes and be like, there you are, you're my block. So with light language, what I've found in my own experience and as a channeler is that light language really helps to kind of like go straight into that subconscious part of us and deals with that energy straight away. And that's why you may have found after you listen to light language, you feel really free, you feel really light. And it's like, oh, this burden has been cleared, but I don't even really know where it's been cleared from. And light language, I know some people might find it a bit strange or a bit unfamiliar, but it does work. Like it really does work. It really helps to clear things. It's such a powerful tool that we have available. And yeah, I'm just really grateful for it. So if you resonate with light language, I would really recommend you check out my shop, especially all light language will work with the subconscious, but especially I would say the most recent one, the Metamorphosis one, would actually really work with your energy field. I just had to say that. So yeah. Okay, so back to your reading. So like I was saying at the start of your reading, I feel like a lot of your creative life force is going to be changing, and you're going to be able to give out a lot more creative output into the world. Like I feel like this stuff that's been draining you, people, places, things, career, job roles that you've been playing, like even the role maybe in your family that you've been playing out, it's been draining. Maybe you've been like the role of the caretaker in your family, or the therapist for all of your friends, or the fixer who always is there to like fix a problem. There's something about this where it's like been really taking so much from you. And then it's like maybe for your own creative pursuits or your own kind of life goals or your own career aspirations, you've had less energy to give. And Spirit's saying that this really needs to be rearranged, and it's happening right now for you, where you're going to have so much more life force because those leaks in your energy are being closed over. And you're going to have so much more output, like the output in your work or the output in your creative sort of work is going to be so different. Like you're going to have so much more creativity. You're going to have so much more product. You're going to have so much more things to give, or like, I don't know, so much more to give, especially I feel to your career and your goals, like your aspirations, whatever they may be. Because it could be any kind of goal. If career doesn't really resonate for you, it could be more about like your goals to do with your health, or even like your beauty goals or your appearance goals. If you've been really wanting to gain muscle, or you've been really wanting to lose weight or something and get healthier, get into shape. It's like I could see that this shift in your energy is what actually allows you to really take off and really like put energy towards that, instead of feeling so drained at the end of the day that it's like, well, whatever, I just want to, eat something really fast, or I don't have the energy to work out or whatever. It's like you're going to have so much more energy, and then you're going to really, I feel you're going to be in this kind of like meditative place where you're going to think, where do I want to put this energy? How do I want to spend my time? Do I feel like meditating right now? Do I feel like journaling? Do I feel like, I don't know, dry brushing or doing my beauty routine? Or do I feel like I'm seeing pampering yourself. Like you're going to be able to pamper yourself and really put yourself first more in a way that you haven't previously done. Now, for some of you, I'm seeing you already have children, and this next chapter of your life will, of course, involve your children. Of course, they will, be a huge light in your life, and a huge part of this chapter will be sort of raising children. But for others of you, this could be something that actually becomes available to you, or you start to recognize that it's something that you want, or you start to meet someone who you start to dream about this with, or I'm just seeing something about fertility, maybe for some of you, like really healing the womb, right? So that you can become fertile enough. And for men, right, just healing fertility in general, or healing any kind of blocks you might have to becoming a parent in general, because that's obviously a huge role to take on, and it can bring up a lot of shadow stuff and whatever. So there's like a lot I feel that might be rearranging for you around parenting, or around taking that role on, maybe deciding to have children or to not have children, whichever decision feels right for you and is sacred and in alignment for you in this life. It's like, I think that's going to come into clarity for you, and you're going to be really sure and clear about what it is that you're here to do, what your destiny path is. For some of you who have more children to have, like, I'm trying to speak to a collective group here, so just be patient with me as I'm getting all the messages out for everyone. For some of you who have children who are going to incarnate in this next chapter of your life, I feel that you will be meeting your child's soul before they come in, and you'll have a sense of who this child will be. You'll like meet them as a soul in the astral. You might even know what their name will be. You might be sort of given their name and kind of like a lot of information about this soul and this child, why you have a soul contract with them, why they're coming through, what it's going to be like, who they're going to be like as a child, as an adult, what their role is in the world, how you're here to nurture their role. And I see it coming through like really clear, like crystal clear, like whoa, like a huge download where you suddenly have like a huge amount of clarity about it. Okay, so creativity, you're going to be way more creative. You're going to have way more energy to kind of put towards the things in your life that you have wanted to do, whatever comes to mind when you think about goals, aspirations, and dreams. Because obviously we're all unique beings and we have different dreams. Some of us, it's about career and like our, how we are of service in the world. Some of us, it might be about more personal goals to do with health or appearance or things like this. It might be about relationship goals. It might be about, goals around children and raising children. Whatever it might be for you, you're going to have way more energy to actually put towards those goals, and certain leaks in your energy field that have been preventing this are going to dissolve. Whew. All right, so group number 1, amazing group number 1. Oh, I just realized that this card is number 16. Okay, so 16 is the Tower. So it's like, I see that the way that this, in the major arcana, number 16 is the Tower card, okay? So every time I see 16, I always think of the Tower. And what I'm seeing in this sense, like the number 16 with the Tower energy, it's also 7 in numerology because 1 plus 6 is 7. It's something about breakthrough. Like you're going to have a big breakthrough to do with this. It's going to be like almost all at once, like a crack, and the ice splits. I don't know why, I just saw like an ice lake, it cracks and there's like this huge split. There's something about this where it's like, oh, because something's been frozen over. Okay, so it's like an ice lake because something's been frozen over in your life where it hasn't been able to move. It's been frozen. You haven't been able to access. Like I said, I feel for your group, especially where these blocks have been, there may have been this feeling of like, I can't access this deeper knowing, or I can't access this deeper kind of, where is it? Like I can't put my finger on it. It's like so deeply held subconsciously. Like, how do I solve this? And the thing is, you have been working at a subconscious level. We're always sort of dealing with things subconsciously, even if we don't realize we are, even in our dreams and in the astral and things like this. But I feel there's been, this huge lake. It's been frozen over. Oh, and then I think about the lake. That's sort of a symbol of the sacral chakra, and the sacral chakra is our hub of creativity in the life force. In the energy body, it's kind of like our center of creativity. I mean, all of our energy centers are connected to creativity, but I really feel the sacral chakra is connected to the womb, right? And the reproductive organs. And of course, our reproductive organs are literally tied into creating new life, right? They are there to create new life. So there's something here about your creativity in certain way has been frozen over. Okay, maybe not completely, because I know a lot of you guys out there are super, super creative souls, but in a certain way, there's been some kind of freeze in your sacral chakra, maybe in your sexuality, maybe it's in your ability to receive like pleasure in your life or to enjoy your life. Maybe it's around this like low self-esteem thing that I was picking up on, maybe not feeling good enough no matter how much you do, being a perfectionist, not ever feeling like it's enough. This thing has been like freezing your sacral chakra, making life feel less enjoyable for you. And I'm seeing it cracking. This next chapter of your life is starting with this crack. It's like, poof, this crack. And then all of a sudden, all this water starts to be able to flow and it starts to defrost the ice. And then you have this totally different environment and this totally different terrain. Again, this image of environments coming back for your group. It's like, yeah, you're going from a frozen over lake into this beautiful springtime lake where there's so much fertility and there's so much growth and there's so much kind of abundance for all of nature, for all of life. And you're really going to be feeling this shift and it's going to happen really fast. Like the Tower card happens in a quick time frame, and the crown chakra as well. My crown chakra is buzzing now. I just realized the crown chakra is also about things happening really fast. So whatever you've been working on, it's like you've just been working at this sort of steadily for this last chapter of your life, or for some of you, your entire life. You've been working on this because it's been something karmically that you've lived with for a long time. And then boom, you just enter into this new phase where it's like, crack, this new life is born for you and you are born into this new life and it's such a better fit for you. And you're going to literally, like, I think that the perspective is really going to come in for you about how hard things have been for you once you're in this new fertile kind of energy in this new lake. I'm seeing a lake scene where it's like this beautiful crystal clear, like pristine kind of lake, gorgeous, like kind of seeing like the lakes in Canada or in Switzerland or something, where they're just like crystal clear blue, like in the summertime, in the springtime, there's such a beautiful color and there's so much life and vibrancy there. So you're going to look back like with a perspective on this old life, on this old chapter you've just come out of and you've closed, and you're going to think, how did I survive that? How did I literally just get through that? That was so hard. I can't believe it. And I think that you kind of got used to it recently in this chapter because it's just been here for such a long time. And I really commend you as a soul because you're very strong. And I can feel it. Like I feel emotional looking into this chapter for you, what you've gone through and how hard it's been and just how much you've had to fight and how resilient you've had to be as a soul. But you've been so unbreakable, and your guides really want to point that out to you and recognize that this new chapter, there is a breakthrough. And even when we don't always know when it's coming, sometimes it can catch us by surprise. And with the Tower card, this could be sometimes we're like sitting there and we're working at something for such a long time, and then finally it cracks. It's kind of like the image of like if you have a really big rock or a really big boulder and you're sitting there and you're trying to like break it with a hammer or with like a pickaxe or whatever, and you just keep hammering and hammering and you just do it for like a day in, day out, day in, day out. And it feels like maybe nothing's changing and it feels like, when is this ever going to crack? And then all of a sudden it just takes you by surprise and it just cracks. And that's been you. You've been tirelessly working. You've been hammering away at this new life, at this thing you want to work at these subconscious blocks that you've been dealing with. You've just been hammering away and working hard, tirelessly, day in, day out. And then finally it's just going to crack and this new life will be born. This new chapter of your life, it feels more significant. It won't just be small changes, it will be big changes, okay? It's going to be like big changes happening for you. And yeah, your throat chakra, that's right. A lot more of an authentic life. Like I was saying, sometimes we can have these ideas of like, oh, well, I just have to be authentic. But I'm seeing this more coming from like a really effortless place where you're not going to have to think about being authentic. Like, oh, I should just try to be authentic with this person in relationship, maybe because I want to have better relationships. Or, oh, I should just try to force myself to be authentic in my workplace because I know that I want to be more authentic. It's like, you're not going to have to think about it. It's just going to be this sense where your throat chakra feels really free and you don't feel this restriction anymore because you're with the right people at the right place, doing the right thing at the right time. And you just feel this freedom coming from your throat where you're like, yeah, I'm just going to be authentic and I'm just going to see how it goes. And I feel like the rules are changing in your life where this new chapter in your life, like authenticity is totally rewarded for you. And it's almost like you're going to feel blocked by the universe if you fall into old patterns where you stop being authentic. It's almost like the universe will kind of make it really clear to you, like, no, this isn't right for you, or this person is a vibrational match to the old you, to when you weren't authentic or speaking up for yourself, or I don't know, if you go for a job interview or something and it's like not the right job for you, it's like an old paradigm, it's an old dynamic that you're trying to move away from. It's like you just won't get the job, or I don't know, if you try to launch a project but it's in the wrong energy, you won't make money from it. It's that kind of thing where the universe will like make it really clear what it is that you're meant to be doing so that you can maintain this new life force and this kind of new fertile existence. Because it's almost like there might be a transition period. And again, Metamorphosis tape that I just released would really help you with this. Um, there almost might be a new, because this crack is happening so quickly, there might be like the 16, right? It's like the tower, it's like crack. Things happen so fast that when you're moving into this new life, you might subconsciously, just out of habit, it's like out of habit. It's like habits can take a little bit of time to kind of die. It's like out of habit, you might still call up that friend who's not a good friend and who doesn't actually have your back and who you don't actually resonate with anymore. And it's like, you're going to call up that friend and then you're going to maybe like not be able to get through to them and you guys can't get in contact for like months and you're like, wow, this is so weird. I haven't been able to talk to this person for such a long time. Or you, like I said, you try to launch a project and it's in the old paradigm version of you. And then you're like, gosh, I didn't make like any money from this project. I can't believe it. Usually I always make money from my project. And it's just Spirit's going to basically be like, you know what? We are protecting you. Rejection will be Spirit's protection in this next chapter of your life. So just go with it, because it's like almost this, there's almost this fragility to this, like, you're going to be like a newborn. Like there's a fragility that needs to be protected. And there might be like some habits that need to kind of die off where you, like I said, you might be reaching for something that isn't right. And then it's going to get blocked, or you might get something cut off that you used to rely upon. That's actually not good for you. That's actually keeping you suppressed or keeping your throat chakra down, or relationships might just like fade away, or clients that you once had might stop coming back because you're not a vibrational match to them anymore. And sometimes when this happens, it can kind of be a bit scary because it can be like, whoa, like what's going on? And you might kind of like, just Spirit saying like, don't get hung up on the rejection aspect of it. Like just see it as evidence that things are changing for you and that it's a positive thing, that you're not a vibrational match to certain things because these things weren't serving you. It wasn't making a good life. Remember when I tuned into that old chapter that you're coming from and how hard it was? It's like, you don't want to recreate that. That's not what you want. So just be patient with yourself in this transition. I don't think it's going to take too long. It's just that with this tower energy, it's like this breakthrough is happening so quick, like crack. Like it's like a crack, a bang, the ice splits and this new life is born. And you're going to kind of be like scrambling a little bit, and a part of you might like reach back for the old, and the old won't be there anymore. And you might be like, whoa, like where can I reach? Like, am I going to be able to make it? Am I going to be able to like swim? And Spirit's saying, you can swim, like you can do this. You're strong. The chapter that you have just lived through is evidence enough of your strength. Like you are so strong. What you've just been through, you can totally handle things going well and things being more easy for you and more effortless and more joyful. Like I think I want to end the reading by saying, this new chapter is going to be filled with so much more joy and enjoyment and pleasure and passion in your life. And I feel like you've been living without joy or enjoyment, and it's been really draining you more than anything, because our sacral chakra loves joy. It loves to enjoy life. It loves to feel embodied and to experience life like a playground, and to have lots of different experiences and to fill the senses up with different things and to meet new people and to expand in our life and to adventure and to get out of our comfort zone and to try new things. So that's what I see really happening in this next chapter, is your sacral chakra really being strengthened and really kind of in charge of your life. I feel you being very intuitive. You meeting a lot of new people and having a lot more new experiences. I can also see international travel. For a lot of you, I feel you're going to want to meet people from different cultures, from different parts of the world, to learn, to kind of expand. You might also be doing more like adventurous things, like, I don't know, going on roller coasters, or going skydiving, or doing extreme sports. There's something about your life where you're going to want to experience things. You're going to be like, yes, give it to me. I want all the experiences. I want to experience everything. And I see you just being way more embodied in your physical vessel and feeling really good. Like your physical body will feel like a nice, homely place to be instead of an uncomfortable place. Whew. So your throat chakra, your sacral chakra, going to be the strongest chakras for you in this next chapter of your life. Creative self-expression is going to be on point. Sacral chakra and throat chakra, wow, that's that's a powerful combination for the creative self and for self-expression. And I see you just expanding like in all areas of your life, and seeing as well you really wanting to talk to people. Like, I want to talk to you, I want to meet you, I want to understand you. Even like you're going to feel way more open to other people, way more open to like strangers. Or if you sit next to someone on a plane, like somehow you're going to sit next to some really interesting person who's just been on an adventure in Peru, and they've got all these things to tell you and all these stories, and you're like, wow, this is amazing. And it's like you're going to be more in this frequency of like living life instead of just surviving life. And you're going to, because you're in that frequency, it's like you're going to meet all these people who are living life, who have done these adventurous things, who are living in this way that inspires you, that excites you. And you're going to be like surprised how effortless it is. You're like, you meet this person who's just come from Peru, and they're like, yeah, I'm going off to Costa Rica, do you want to come along? And you're like, okay. You're kind of going to live more in this inspired way, and kind of just experience things and be way more open to the excitement of life, especially to do with creative self-expression, the enjoyment, like pleasure side of life, and also meeting new people and travel. I'm seeing all of those things really strongly. All right, good one. I'm sending you so much love and light. And yeah, I would recommend you check out Metamorphosis. I feel like it would really help you with the energy that you're healing and moving from, and the energy that you're stepping into and embodying. You definitely are going to be feeling like a butterfly in this next chapter of your life. You're going to be feeling beautiful, radiant, and so much more free than you have in years. All right, I'm sending you love and light. Take care. Hello, group 2, and welcome to your reading. So you chose number 39, Elemental Wisdom, and it has a unicorn right there. So I feel for you, this next chapter of your life that you're moving into is going to be one filled with a lot more magic and wonder and awe. And I feel events happening in your life in this new chapter, you will feel some sense of it being magic, or you previously not realizing that it was possible for you. Like, I'm seeing this sense of wonder and awe where you're like, wow, I didn't even know that it was possible for life to be like this, or for this, I didn't know that this was available to me. Because imagine just like being in a forest and then seeing a unicorn. Like, imagine the feeling that you would get, right? If you actually saw a unicorn out there in the forest, you would literally have your mind blown, and you would be like, wow, like this world is so special. I had no, like, you know what I mean? I feel that's kind of the energy that was coming in with this new chapter, where something's kind of going to blow your mind. It's going to expand your third eye rapidly, kind of all at once. Your third eye is going to go from kind of being limited in a certain way to being really expanded. And you're going to be like, wow, like there's so much more available to me, and there's so much more available to life on earth. Like, there's so much more here. I see this is also a spiritual expansion in your consciousness, where again, is like a recognition that you were in a way being cut off from the all that is in this past chapter that you're moving out of, and this new chapter that you're moving into. I see this huge third eye awakening, this huge third eye expansion, but I see it happening in a very sort of gentle and grounded and expanded way, because unicorns represent like the horse, which is the physical, and then there's like the magical kind of horn, and they are magical, mystical creatures. So it's kind of like this union of physical and spiritual. And that's what I see happening in your new chapter, where I feel like you've always been a very spiritual person, but maybe you haven't been able to ground it fully, or maybe it's the opposite, and you felt very kind of trapped in the mundane kind of life that hasn't felt magical enough to you. And I feel like you are a very magical soul, and this next chapter is going to really nourish that part of you that needs more magic in your life, that needs more wonder and excitement and, you know, magical events, like kind of just blowing your mind. And I think the main energy that I'm getting is you realizing just how much is possible for yourself, for your life. Kind of you realizing, it's like I'm seeing this sense of all is possible. And this comes from the third eye. When our third eye is truly open and expanded, we actually can see like, wow, everything is actually possible for me. Like, there's so much available, and we can see this infinitely abundant life that's actually laid out for us. And that's what I'm seeing happening, where you're going to be kind of like standing on top of a mountain and looking around and thinking like, I could go this way, I could go this way, I could go this way. And all of these paths lead me towards fulfillment. All of these paths are amazing. It's almost actually to the point where you're going to wish that there was more time in a day because you're going to have so many ideas. You're going to have so many like leads that you want to pursue, so many creative ideas, so many things you want to learn, study, teach. you're going to almost want to like clone yourself into like hundreds of versions of you so that you can get everything done that you want to get done. And I think that this level of abundance is something that you haven't fully grounded into before. I think many of you may have captured it and seen it briefly or for periods of your life, but this chapter feels like in a very grounded way. I keep getting a grounded energy by this. It's like you're going to be grounded and expanded at the same time. And it's going to lead to a lot of productivity. Like I could see you learning a new language and then also learning a new instrument, and it kind of coming to you in a way where it's like lightning fast. Like you can learn something new and it's coming to you really fast rather than, kind of, how they say like, oh, you can't, oh my God, it's 111. There you go. You know how they say, oh, once you grow up, like your brain slows down and you don't have neuroplasticity anymore. So it's like really hard to learn a new language, or it's really hard to learn a new instrument. So you have to do everything when you're a child. That's totally a myth. But I feel like you're going to be like busting that myth, and you're going to be living the evidence of it, where it's like you're going to have neuroplasticity as if you were like a child again, but even better because you're an adult. It's like you're going to have the neuroplasticity of a child, but in an adult's body with an adult's intelligence. And it's like, imagine what you could do with that. Imagine if the whole world was your oyster in that way, kind of like when children have this sense of wonder and awe of like all that is possible for them. I'm seeing as well, you're going to be healing your inner child in this new chapter, like reclaiming a sense of childlike innocence, because unicorns represent innocence as well. Reclaiming a sense of childlike innocence that wasn't previously, I don't know, it was always within you, but it wasn't always at the forefront of your life. Like I feel like there was a part of you that got a little bit beaten down by the density of this realm, which is like totally understandable, and my heart goes out to you because I totally resonate and understand. But it's like I feel you're reclaiming that lightness of being, that magic, that sense of magic and sparkle in your eyes, and you're going to be proving the world, like you're going to be proving it to yourself every day in the way that you live. You're going to have so much more energy. Like I said, you're going to have so many pursuits going at the same time. It's kind of crazy. I don't know. Have any of you guys seen that movie Limitless? Who's it got? It's got Bradley Cooper in it. Okay. It's like, it's a movie, but it's about where this guy, he like takes this pill and then all of a sudden he has access to like the entire workings of his brain and subconscious, and he can like remember every single thing that's ever been told to him, and he can like study a language in like a couple of hours and become fluent, and it's like his world just expands. And obviously there's negative sides to it. There's like withdrawals and all this stuff. Anyway, it's an interesting film, but it's kind of giving me that energy of Limitless, where it's like, imagine if you had access to all of you. Imagine if you had access to kind of the limitless version of you. And what would you do with that? What would you do with your life? How would you spend your time? How would you kind of allocate the resources of the preciousness of you? And I feel that's what you're going to be tuning into, and that's what you're going to be thinking. And you're going to be kind of like strategic. You're going to be like, okay, this is what I'm going to do from like 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., then from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., then this thing, then this thing, then this thing, and then I'm going to fly over here, then I'm going to go here, then I'm going to speak at this conference, and then I'm going to do this. And I just see you having this packed and busy life, but you loving every single moment of it, and you feeling like this very expanded version of you, and you maintaining this third eye opening and awakening where you recognize like all is possible to me. And I think that part of your archetype and like the soul energy that you're here to hold in this earth is to prove to the collective consciousness what is actually possible. To kind of bust through myths around what people think isn't possible, what people think like, oh, well, that's just not possible, until someone goes and does it. And then everyone has to kind of rearrange their consciousness around that new person, that new truth, that new objective truth of like, okay, well, it is possible. It's kind of like, the tale of like the tale, the story of like the 4-minute mile, where it's like everyone was like, oh, it's impossible for someone to run a mile in 4 minutes. Like that's impossible. It's never going to be done. No way. And then someone went ahead and did it. I don't remember their name, but I just remember that it kind of like shocked the world. And there was sort of this rearranging that had to happen in consciousness where people realized like, oh, okay, well, it is possible for someone to run a mile in 4 minutes. So let's change the history books, let's update all of the data. Let's, get our minds around this. And that person who ran the 4-minute mile, they had to have a free mind. They had to have an open third eye where they weren't just going along with the collective narrative of what everyone else around them was telling them of like, oh, you can't run faster than 4 minutes, or you can't run at 4-minute mile. That's impossible. That's impossible. That's impossible. And they were able to be immune from that so that they could actually anchor in this new timeline for humanity. And every time that someone holds this archetype and they're able to do this, it expands consciousness for our whole world and expands reality. And this is totally a part of your destiny, is that you are meant to embody something that other people find as impossible. Other people are like, this is impossible. Just like the existence of a unicorn. People are like, that's a myth. That's impossible. It's never going to happen. And it's like, you're meant to be this unicorn. You're meant to be this rare beacon of light and love in this earth, which is so magical to people that they're like, how is this even real? Is this even real? And they're like pinching themselves and they have to kind of like expand in there and update. It's like a software update. They have to like update their software to be like, okay, this is real. This is happening. And yeah. And you know, since that person ran the 4-minute mile, there's been like so many more people that have come and ran even faster than that, and then even faster than that, and then even faster than that. And it's like, where does it end? Do you know what I mean? Like there's so much more limitless sort of possibilities in this universe than we actually really give ourselves credit for. And I think that's really the archetype that you're here to hold. And it's okay if you felt kind of like, I don't know, a bit blocked off from this at different times in your life, because I'm feeling like maybe the chapter in your life that you've come from has been heavier and denser, and you may have lost a little bit of that sparkle and that spark that you have in yourself of magic. And sometimes that can happen, especially when we're clearing deep karma and we're going through like really, really intense, karmic clearings where we have to live through some really intense things or some really intense density, and we have to kind of do it to purge it out of ourselves and to free ourselves from it. And that's what I feel Spirit wants to give you as the context of the chapter that you've come from, is that if things have felt really heavy or dense or hard, or you've lost that magic and that sparkle and that faith and that hope that you naturally have as a soul, fear not, because it's returning to you. And in that chapter, you've purged a lot. You've purged so much karma so that you can come into more of this role that you're here to play. Like this is a divine role, like a divine archetype, like I was saying. And part of this archetype is that you have to have a very open third eye, and you have to be able to live separate to what other people believe. You have to have independence in your mind and in your thoughts, so that what other people say is true. Maybe it's not, maybe it is, but you need to question it and question everything and really think for yourself, like have your own mind. Because so many people on this earth, they don't even bother thinking for themselves. They don't even bother thinking like, well, is this true? Well, I don't know, but this person told me it was true, or this book says that it's true, so I guess it just has to be true. And it's like, well, not necessarily, you know? There's like infinite examples of where it's actually not true. So I feel like part of your gift is that you don't actually take things at face value, and that you do have this very rare thing of having an independent mind, having actual independence in your mind where you can think for yourself. In this next chapter of your life, you're really coming into your power to do with this divine role that you're here to hold for the collective. And this divine role, this archetype that you have of being like proof of the impossible made possible, like being the living embodiment and the evidence that the impossible can be possible, of magic is real. That's not necessarily an easy archetype to have because it's rare. I think that's why, is mostly just because it's rare. So you might not have a lot of people in your peer group or in your community or in your family who you can look around and be like, yeah, I want to be just like them. And maybe that is something that you felt as a child, or you didn't feel like there's something about. There may not have been a lot of examples. And even as I was thinking, it's like the 4-minute mile, there are a lot of examples, but it's still sort of scattered through. The majority of people that you meet will kind of think like everyone else and not really feel the need to question it. And even if you question it around them and be like, well, how do you know that's true? Or what if you think about it this way? They might just be like, yeah, nah, I'm not interested. And I feel like you're just totally the opposite of that. And you've always had this freedom in your mind where you have thought about things differently. And I feel like because of how much this is different to humanity at this time on Earth, sometimes I think you might have gotten a little bit down and like, I don't know, there's something about this last chapter of your life where maybe you had to really reckon with like questioning yourself or questioning like, are my dreams too big? Are my aspirations unrealistic? And maybe that's because like the messaging that you were getting from society at large was constantly that of like, just, live a humble life and like, don't dream too big, just be happy with what you get. Don't try to rock the boat, kind of play it small. And I just feel like that would literally suffocate you as a soul, and it would like almost be equivalent to soul death if you tried to do that. And I think maybe you had some karma around maybe like your family of origin, because we get really impacted by our family of origin. As all of you probably know, but we get really impacted by that, like subconsciously, that their energy gets sort of like taken in at a subconscious level, just like a sponge absorbing the water around it in its environment. That's kind of like what you were like as a child. And I feel like you were just such a different being, just like you are different to most of the collective, but definitely different to your family. And that's sort of a lot of this karma that you were purging, of like people sort of being naysayers and being like, well, how are you going to do that? Or trying to like make you more normal. Like there's something about like maybe your family wanted you to be more normal. Like, why can't you just be like everyone else? Why do you have to be like this? Why do you have to have these crazy ideas? And there might have been like a sadness as well around, I don't know, just maybe not being seen for like your genius and your magic. And I think that's all changing in this next chapter, where it's like you're getting this real strong inner shift where you're approving of yourself first, where you're like, you know what, I'm amazing. I'm a freaking genius, okay? And you're going to be living that way. You're going to be living that way, and you're going to be living that out. And it's going to transform your external reality, where it's like you're going to meet other creative geniuses who inspire you, instead of just having these few examples in the collective that you might hold on to and like look back in the history books, or even if they're still modern day, like be like, wow, this person, like they're so amazing. They pushed the envelope, or they like pushed the boundaries of what people thought was possible, and they expanded the collective consciousness. It's like you resonate with those stories so much because that is you. That is the archetype you are here to have. That is the archetype you are here to hold. And that is what your destiny is to unfold and to fulfill. So this is going to be a real destiny part of your chapter, where it's like you're really embodying this huge third eye expansion and awakening, but in a very grounded way. You're going to be very, very productive, like a lot of action being taken. A lot of like, I feel a balance between the masculine and the feminine. Yeah, it's going to be a very balanced time actually, because I'm seeing a lot of action being taken, like very masculine, kind of like, I want to be doing things. I want to get out there and live life and kind of like go after my dreams, and a lot of energy expenditure and like kind of like passion and drive, kind of like almost this ferocious kind of fire energy where you're like, I want to live life, I'm going to go out there and like fulfill my destiny, and kind of this warrior energy. But then you also have this very feminine energy in this next chapter, where you're very intuitive and you're very like looking inwards and kind of recognizing that when we have blocks, they come from inside of us. They might manifest externally in different ways, but they're ultimately within us first. So when we have these blocks, we have to look inwards and find them subconsciously, find them deep within, and shift it in the internal to make that way for us in our external. So you're kind of mastering this dance between masculine and feminine, and recognizing like, when is it time to pull back and to go inwards, and when is it time to move, push out and focus externally and focus on, taking action, and kind of like that real drive, like that real life force, that drive for life, taking action, motion, getting things moving. This next chapter of your life, you're going to be, I feel, the most connected to your spirituality than you ever have. And I think you're a very spiritual person. So yeah. So buckle up, okay? Because you're going to be very, very spiritual in this next chapter, to the point where you might feel alienated by how spiritual you are, because you might just like so not resonate anymore with like the normie life, even though I don't think you ever did. But maybe like even to like a way more of an extent. Like I'm trying to flesh this out with an example, but maybe, for example, you used to be able to watch kind of like mainstream movies or something, or like some kind of mainstream music of some kind. Even if it's like indie music, it's still kind of like mainstream. And then it's like with this new spiritual awakening, it's like you're breaking free from the collective consciousness in such a radical way that your frequency is almost like not meant to be a match to those kinds of medias anymore. And it's like you're going to be like, oh, I can't even watch this anymore. I don't even resonate with this anymore. I can't listen to this anymore. And that might be kind of surprising to you, because I feel like you've always, like, maybe you've thought like, oh, being grounded is like still being able to kind of connect with like the kind of like non-magical world of this earth kind of thing. Like non-magical kind of peoples. But I just see you really like, I don't know, like coming more into this independence and kind of like almost excelling in alienation. I'm trying to explain this because it's quite bizarre. But it's sort of like, I don't know, maybe you always like force yourself to kind of do the everyday things, like go to the family gatherings, and then in this new chapter of your life, you're like, no, you know what, I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. I don't resonate. I just can't. Sorry, there's always ants because I have plants. It's part of the reading. And they come in from outside. Anyway, I feel like, yeah, you're going to be like, I can't do this anymore. There's something where you're going to be saying no. You're going to be saying no to things that tie you too much to the collective consciousness. Because at like family gatherings and they're always like, oh, so what have you been up to? And then you're kind of like, oh, and you might just feel like it's not a vibrational match because you don't feel like that judgment, or you don't want people's, I don't know, there's something about it where it's like, it's just not going to vibe for you. And you're going to have more of this confidence and this courage to be like, you know what, I am who I am. I love you or whatever, but it's just not right for me. And I'm just going to go live my life. And I just feel like there's going to be more of this independence. And something about cutting cords with the collective consciousness so that you can free yourself, so you can do your divine destiny and do your divine role. Because living this much outside of it, like I said, you have to have a very free mind. You have to have a very clear third eye to achieve the destiny that you're here to achieve. Okay, because you have a very specific role and you're here to achieve something very specific around, like I said, achieving something that other people think is impossible, like running the 4-minute mile. The first person who did that, it's like, they had to have that clear field of belief within themselves. They can't be like hanging out with these friends who are constantly being like, that's impossible, dude, you can't do that. And it's like, yeah, sure, you could technically like hang out with them and it just doesn't bother you, but I'm just seeing that's not the role that you're here to have. You're not meant to be around this energy. You're meant to actually rise up in independence and alienation and kind of be okay with kind of living your own life. And then in that frequency, in that real deep connection with your inner world and your inner kind of satisfaction, if you desire to have friends or, your own family or relationships of whatever kind, that will naturally come in. But these relationships won't be at odds with your destiny. I feel like having relationships that are at odds with your destiny is like a certain part of the path for you. I'm not trying to speak universally, I'm just tuning in with you. It's like it's a certain part of the path that you're outgrowing. And you're shedding that layer. And there might even be like some fears, even if you are like a super independent person, there might still be some fears of like letting go this radically to the collective, because we are human beings incarnate, right? We are souls incarnate as human beings. And humans are very, very, very innately drawn to belonging and connection. Even if you're the most independent person ever and you're super just doing your own thing all the time and you totally love being alien and all these things, you are still wired for connection. You are still wired for belonging. That is still something that is, in a way, a part of like your biology, right? So it's like there's still some level of fear, I feel, for how radical your destiny path is going to take you. Like you might be drawn to, for example, I don't know, like maybe going and doing a retreat on your own for like several months or 6 months or even a year. Now I'm thinking of like, the Batman movie. In the Batman movie, there was like the one, where is it, Batman Begins, like the first one. He like goes away for 7 years. Is it 7 years or 9 years? I think it's 7 years. Interesting, it's the crown, all the 7 chakras. But it's like he goes away for 7 years and he travels around and he goes like all around the world, and because he's a billionaire, right, Batman, and he experiences life without any money, and he just like has all these crazy adventures, and he trains in that school and stuff, and he has this like totally different life, and he cuts off from his old life. He cuts off from his family and he doesn't really have a family, but he cuts off from the people that he knows at home, and that identity where he's this billionaire heir, and he cuts off from his money and all these things, and he kind of reinvents himself, and he goes through this huge spiritual awakening. And in a way, it's like that is what is aligning him to become the Batman, to become this like person, like to fulfill his destiny. He has to go through that to fulfill his destiny, to become who he's come here to be. Okay, so it's like that's kind of what I'm feeling for you, but like in a much sort of gentler kind of way, because what he went through was like really intense. But it's like, I'm feeling more for you. It's like you will feel this need to kind of cut off so that you can reinvent, so that you can let go of those cores, those strings that are not, that like weren't really you anyway. And yeah, it might involve travel. It might involve getting away from your hometown or from, like I said, family or friends or something who see you as this old version and who haven't really been able to see for who you truly are and like the destiny that you're really here to fulfill. And it's sort of like this personal pilgrimage I'm seeing, like in this next chapter of your life. It's like a spiritual pilgrimage where it's like you go through this sort of initiation to become this version of you. And like I said, for some reason, I see it involving some kind of radical shift or like a radical cutting off from your old life, your old identity, your old version of you. It is really reminding me of that Batman Begins movie, okay? Especially that first part where he goes on this like spiritual journey, this initiation to become the Batman. And it's like that. I know that's like kind of a bit humorous, but that's kind of what I'm getting for you. It's like this next chapter of your life is about your spiritual destiny. It's about you fulfilling the role that you have literally been born on this earth to fulfill. And I see you taking it really seriously in this very aligned way. Like it's totally aligned for you to take it really seriously. Just like, yeah, I'm getting like, even as well, like James Bond kind of energies. I know these are like very kind of like mainstream kind of ideas, but you know, like James Bond ways, like he has a mission and that is like his sole focus. It's like, I've got this mission, I've got to go do this thing. And he takes it really seriously. And it's like, I just saw an orb. That's kind of what I'm getting for you in this next chapter of your life. It's like, you're going to feel so clear with your third eye being open about what your mission is, what it is that you're here to do. And you're going to take it 100% seriously because it is serious. You know, it kind of is. And there will be some kind of thing of like you cutting off from things that aren't in alignment with your initiation process. And part of your initiation, I'm getting the crown chakra, part of your initiation will be freeing yourself from attachments that you cannot bring with you into this new form of yourself. Attachments to anything that keeps you from your destiny, anything that is not a vibrational match to like the person that you are here to be or the role that you're here to fulfill, the destiny that you are here to fulfill. So this next chapter of your life is deeply spiritual. You're going to be deeply intuitive. You're going to be taking a lot of action and doing things in a much more radical way. You're going to be cutting off from people, places, things that like just aren't a match to you, aren't a match to your destiny. You're going to be going through an initiation spiritually that might last for several years, where you are kind of going to be shaped by spirit to become the person you are really here to become. And you're going to be stepping out of this sort of chapter. I feel this chapter is both the initiation but also the embodiment. Like it's something like this, where it's like you're going to become this version of yourself during this chapter. It's not kind of like the initiation chapter and then you have the becoming chapter. It's kind of like both in one. And you're going to be stepping into this role like sooner than you think as well. When you hear initiation, don't think like, oh, it means that I'm not going to kind of be doing what I've come here to do for ages. Like, no, I think the initiation is actually going to be largely through doing, through experiencing, through embodying. Like you're going to be thrust into your role kind of quickly. And doing your role is part of the initiation. Okay. And I just see you taking it so seriously, like as you should. And yeah. And it's like the cutting off isn't coming from a resentful place or an angry place or like a you hurt me place or you never supported me or understood me. It's like, it's none of that. It's really coming from this very aligned spiritual place where you're just like, you know what, this thing isn't serving me anymore. You know, for example, it might be you getting sober, and you just feeling it coming from this real deep calling within you and kind of like allowing things to fall away. Like I'm seeing it's going to feel more effortless, kind of like when a rocket ship ascends and different parts of its, like the body of the rocket like falls away so it can become lighter, so it can keep moving up into space. And you're massively ascending in this next chapter of your life. So it's like naturally things will fall away and they just will fall away more effortlessly. And it's things that keep your vibration low, or it's people that keep your vibration low, or it's ideas within yourself subconsciously that keep your vibration low, because it's like you're going as high as you can go. Like for your role, like I said, for your destiny, like you need to be kind of on top of your game. Kind of as well, I'm seeing like the archetype of an athlete. Like they have to train, like they have to devote their life to this. They can't just be like, oh yeah, I don't really care. I'm not going to try that hard. It's like, okay, well then you won't get very far. You have to devote yourself to something. So I'm seeing like devotion in this next chapter of your life where it's like you have so much clarity. You have the roadmap of your destiny. You have kind of like the blueprint of your soul. You're like, I know who I am and I know what I'm here to do. And it's such a powerful energy. It's like, whew, it's giving me kind of like goosebumps, shivers, because it's like, that is such an amazingly powerful, strong kind of energy. And I do feel this kind of like masculine archetype coming through, like no matter your gender or anything. It's like kind of that James Bond, like spy, kind of like on a mission, like, or, Batman fulfilling his divine destiny to become like this protector of his city or whatever. Or like an athlete who's training for something, like their life depends on it and it's like their career defining moment. It's like, imagine the sort of like fierceness that you would put behind that. Imagine like the intention, imagine the focus, the drive that you would have for those kinds of things, and then apply that to your own mission, your own destiny. And I'm not saying that it's going to be like all serious, because those kind of archetypes, it can be kind of serious, but it's like you're focusing on it because you're so passionate about it. It's like you're going to enjoy every moment of it. You're going to feel so good because it's like that's what you've been looking for. It's this sense of like really locking in. And remember how I was saying like grounding? Because you're going to be grounded because you're going to kind of be locked into place. It's like I'm seeing you being like locked in because you're like, boom, lock. I know what I'm here to do. And it's kind of like nothing can shake you from that sense of purpose. Nothing can take you away from that sense of purpose. And I do feel like you have kind of a bit of a superhero vibe. Okay. You have a little bit of a superhero vibe, a little bit of a kind of like secret agent, like divine destiny, kind of like it feels like you're doing this mission, like you've come to earth for this mission, and it's like you're gonna do it, you're gonna fulfill it. Like you have the focus, you have the drive, you have the passion, you have the alignment, you have the intuition, you have the balance of masculine and feminine to achieve this. And it's super powerful. Wow, group 2, oh my god. That was such a fun reading. You have such a cool energy. So if you would like to check out more of my work, my links are in the description box below. And yeah, I did just release the Metamorphosis light language tape. You might really resonate with this for what you're going through as you're moving out of an old chapter and into a new one. The link is in the description if you'd like to read more and see if it's right for you. And I'm sending you so much love and light. Hello, group 3, and welcome to your reading. So you chose Metamorphosis. Wow. So your group in particular, you are literally moving from one form into another, from one phase of your life into another. This chapter that you're moving into will feel very distinct from the chapter that you're moving out of. And I feel that it will be marked by some kind of a shift in even in your appearance is the first thing that comes to mind, or in your home, like where you live. It might be marked by moving home, moving locations, moving internationally, or it might be marked by something in your physical body shifting. Like I'm seeing for a lot of you, there could be, I feel like you've been working on yourself. I mean, you've definitely been working on yourself, but I feel like there's been maybe something you've been doing in particular, like maybe some kind of a health routine, maybe fitness journey, maybe even working on your yoga or meditation or channeling abilities, something maybe that you do every day or like on a regular basis that you improve slowly over time. And for example, if you've been eating a lot healthier or something, it's like I'm seeing that showing up in your physical vessel. Or if you've been working in the gym to like build muscle or to change your shape or something, I'm seeing that really showing up in your physical reality. Or some of you, it's like you might be going through a hair transformation of some kind, like cutting your hair or growing it out or dyeing it or something. There's something like where your physical vessel is going to look different, or you're going to look different to people. And even if you aren't changing, like even if you're kind of like, I don't know, I'm not really changing that much, you will be looking different anyway to people because you're changing from the inside. So it's like people are going to comment on your appearance or on something like this and be like, wow, you look really good. Or like, did you do something to your hair? And you're going to be like, no, I haven't done anything. But you're going to be looking different to people because of this inner work that you've been doing, and because you're going to be radiating like and shining this new light. Like you will, for some of you, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about and be like, yes, I'm so keen. I've been putting so much effort into, this new routine or this new health regime or my meditation or something. And you're going to be earning the glow, kind of feeling like you earned it. But for others of you, it's going to kind of come just like you're not even going to know how or where it came from, but it's just coming because you've changed your energy, you've changed your internal world, and you've changed your inner light. And you're going to be shining. Like I'm seeing this group glowing in your new chapter, like you're actually glowing from the inside out. People are going to be like, wow, you look amazing. And you're going to be very magnetic. in this new form, because this new form is way more aligned to who you truly are as a soul. Like, your alignment is making you magnetic. You're going to be very, very magnetic. Like, people are going to feel really drawn to your energy, almost to the point where you're going to have to learn to have very strong boundaries, or you might already have been learning this actually in order to come into this energy. Or actually, I'm seeing you've already been learning the boundary stuff, because once you come into this energy, you're going to need to know how to say no to people, how to kind of stay on track and stay focused. Because when you have this many offers and opportunities coming and knocking at your door, you kind of need to know and have that intuitive guidance of like, yes, this is right for me, or no, this isn't right for me. Because sometimes when we have like so many opportunities come in all at once, we can kind of be like, oh my gosh, I want to do all of them, or like they all sound fun, or this sounds amazing, or I really like this. But it's like there is sort of a narrow pathway when I'm being shown by spirit. Like, there is a narrow pathway for you, for all of us, but for you in particular, for your group in this new chapter, it's like there is a narrow pathway of what it is that you're here to do, who it is you're here to be with, or something like this. So it's sort of like, for example, if you have all of these opportunities for dating, for romance, that's what I'm seeing for some of you. Well, even if you're in a relationship, actually, I'm seeing there's still going to be like this sense of romance in the air, and almost like people like flirting with you more, or having like more people approaching you, even just as friendship, like having a lot of people approaching you. Like, I'm just seeing so many freaking people. Oh my God, there's so many people. So it's kind of a lot. And I'm just seeing like a part of you kind of wants to say yes to everything and be like, yeah, I want to live life. But Spirit's saying there's a narrow pathway, and you can trust in your intuition. Like, you're going to know how to kind of say no to the things that aren't right for you, because you will have to say a lot of no's because there's just too many. There's just too much. And the thing is that even if something looks good, like it's in a pretty package, it looks good on the outside, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's right for you, or that it will take you on your destiny path. So there will be some kind of guiding force within you that keeps you aligned with your destiny path, because I'm just seeing there's almost this sense of like almost the potential to get distracted by how many opportunities are knocking at your door. Like, it could be opportunities for work, career, and there's sort of just like so many. You're like, wow, it could take my life in like so many different directions. Like, there's so much, and you're going to kind of have to like really dig deep maybe and meditate and really go inwards to like be like, you know what, but this is what's right for me. And if you are single, I'm seeing a lot of interest in you, even to the point where you're like, I'm seeing that it's funny because you might be listening to this reading right now coming from the old chapter, and you're kind of like, yes, like give it to me. I want all this attention. I want all these like opportunities for meeting people and for love or romance or career or whatever. But when it's actually all in front of you, I think there's going to be a part of you that is like, I'm just going back to bed. Like, this is too much. Like, there's going to be almost this introverted part of you that kind of takes over and is like, wow, this is a lot. I don't know about this. And you kind of like walk away and have to kind of gather yourself again to be like, okay, you're a yes, you're a no, you're a yes, you're a no, and kind of like sort it all out, because there's just so much. Like, it's a lot. And yeah, I mean, I think that it's going to be great, because it's going to really advance your love life, or it's really going to advance your career life in like a massive way, and you're going to love that. But the amount of attention that I'm seeing is kind of a lot. It's kind of like, you know, when celebrities get like mobbed by fans, and it's kind of like the fans kind of like go crazy and they go wild, and they're like trying to like pull their like clothes off or something in their hair, and it's sort of like, oh my God, like too much, okay, tone it down. It's kind of like that vibe where there's so much attention on you that it's a lot, but you're going to handle it well. Remember your boundaries. I feel like this old life that you're coming out of, this old chapter I'm in, you've had to train your boundaries. Spirit's been like, boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. That's what you've been focusing on. That's what you've been in training for. And this training is going to be put to the test, okay? As this new chapter opens, it's like you sort of almost immediately, because when your energy shifts from the inside, your external reality changes really fast. Like, the whole universe responds to you differently as soon as your energy shifts. And you might have noticed this day to day, right? One day you have a different internal energy, you're feeling really good, and it's like, oh my God, the world is such a pleasant place. Like, I've got all these opportunities and life feels so easy, and I got given this free fruit basket at the markets, and all these nice things happen to you. And then you have another day where you're like feeling kind of, I don't know, a bit low self-esteem, or you're feeling a bit fragile or vulnerable, and then it's like, great, you manifest someone who makes a rude comment, you manifest this thing and this thing and this thing. That's actually another thing I'm getting, is like, you're a really powerful manifestor, group 3. Like, you're almost too powerful for your own good. And that's what I was getting with the amount of opportunities that you're going to be bringing in. It's almost like you're going to be mobbed like by fans. You're going to have like so much come in that you're kind of like, what? what it's kind of like you step out of your door and there's all these paparazzi, and it's like, so I keep getting this sort of celebrity energy. So for some of you, if you are public in some way, or if you desire to be, then I could see that really happening, like for you, like a lot of eyes on you, like a lot of attention. But even if you're not public or you don't desire to be in your work or in your life, then this is just like people being interested in you. Like you could be on a train or something and someone comes, sits next to you and is like, oh, I really love your dress. Where did you get it from? And it's like you start chatting and they're like, do you want to go out for coffee sometime? You're amazing. Like there's just so much interest in you. And especially if you're introverted, I think you're going to be kind of like, what is this spirit? So this is why you've had to be like really training in your boundaries, because this is your natural innate energy is like extremely magnetic. And for whatever reason, because you got metamorphosis, you weren't fully embodying that. But this next level of your life, like you are embodying it. I feel this next chapter of your life, you're going to be like the butterfly, because if you think about it, butterflies get a lot of attention. It's like, can anyone not look at a butterfly when it flies past? It's just so beautiful, you know what I mean? And that's the energy that you're going to hold. You're just going to be so beautiful, radiating this natural, beautiful light that people are just going to like turn their heads and be like, who's this? And they're going to look at you and they kind of going to want to be a friend, or they're going to want to date you, or they're going to want to get to know you, or they're going to want to give you this offer. They're going to be like, hey, promote my product for me, or come work for me, or something. There's just this people grabbing for you, grab, I want to grab you, I want to grab your energy. That's kind of the energy I'm getting like all around you. And I feel that you've come from, your caterpillar phase and your cocoon phase, and no one really noticed you as much in those phases. It's like, yeah, sure, maybe you had some caterpillar friends and it was fun, but I'm just seeing the amount of attention on you is just like totally different. Do you know what I mean? From when you're the caterpillar and you're just focusing on, like taking in those leaves and eating as much as you can. And then you're focusing on just like surrendering in your cocoon and dissolving into liquid and becoming your new form. And you're not talking to anyone or around anyone. And then you come out into this next chapter in your life and you're the butterfly. And everyone's eyes are on you and they can't look away. They're like, you're the most beautiful butterfly I've ever seen. Oh my God. That's how you're going to be treated. And it's almost going to be like a bit of a shock to the system, but don't worry. Like, I feel like it's a positive one. And the truth is that it's who you've always been. Metamorphosis, I feel, is coming into the form of yourself that you've always truly been at your inside. And maybe there's been a part of you that's been a bit upset about being the caterpillar and no one really noticing you or something. There's something here around attention and visibility, and like you learning to be okay with being visible and being seen. And for some of you, that's going to be in a really big way, because you're also going to be seen on the public stage, in the public arena, for your work, for your career. I'm seeing you on a stage talking, like you're on a stage. So for some of you, it's like your career, you might get promoted to a point where you have to do public relations, you have to talk to the media, or you have to, I don't know, give speeches for your team or lead a team. Or for some of you, it's like you're on social media, or you have some kind of art career and you're getting more, I don't know, tickets for your shows, or you get bigger gigs and things like this. It's more. It's like abundance. More. There's more and more and more and more and more. And it's kind of like infinitely so. And I just see you maintaining this sense of attractiveness and magnetism, where it's like you're so magnetic and people can't help but be flocked to you. It's like moths to a flame, because you have this very beautiful light. That's who you truly are. You're a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful light. Like the energy of your soul, the light from your soul is beautiful. It's wonderful. It's creative. And there is just so many people in this world that are drawn to you. Okay. Sure, you're not going to be popular by like universally, because no one really is, because we're all unique. But I'm just seeing it's going to be a lot. It's going to be very abundant. All right. So I feel like maybe we'll pull a couple of cards for you. Right? I feel like let's pull some cards for you, group 3. So, oh yeah. And I'm just realizing, hold on. This is card number 18. Which in the major arcana is the moon. Okay, card number 18 in the major arcana is the moon. And I feel like there is something here of like you're going from the cocoon to the butterfly. This chapter that you're moving from, your old chapter has been cocooning. You've been cocooning, group 3. My gosh, no wonder it feels like a bit of a shock to the system as you come out as this butterfly, and then it's like everyone's looking at you. Because you've been cocooning in a big way. You've been focusing on your inner world, your inner transformation. You've been dissolving old identities. You've been letting yourself surrender to the divine and to kind of the healing work that you've been needing to do. You might have been more hermiting, like introverted. You might have been spending more time alone or in your own world. And I'm just seeing this level of people being like attracted to you is going to be so different because you've been in such a cocoon phase. The moon card in the tarot is about things that are hidden. It's like darkness, you know? So it's like you're moving out of darkness and into the light. And I don't mean darkness as in like bad or negative. It's just a different form of light. Like it's just a different form. So, and it was necessary. So it's like you're moving from, even maybe some of you might have been a bit nocturnal. I'm just seeing you doing things at night a lot. And I'm seeing you moving into the light and having kind of this like real different sort of things. You know, cocoons, there's sort of a darkness in them, right? Because it's like they're kind of insulated and you're wrapped up and you're kind of not seeing, you know, you're not really seeing the light as much. But then the butterfly, it's like they're always in the sun. Like when do you see a butterfly at night? They're always around in the sunshine. Do you know what I mean? So there's something here about, really moving into the light and how that is a very different energy to where you've come from. And it might take a little bit of time, just like if you walk into a really bright room or you walk outside, maybe you're in a dark room and you walk outside into the sun and then your eyes are kind of like, whoa, it's going to be like that. But it will not take you very long to adjust, and boundaries. That's what you've been working with in this past chapter that you're moving out of. You've been working with boundaries so that you can handle this level of attention on you, so that you can handle saying no to what is not right for you. And you might have even had to work with rejection, because like as in learning how to reject people, because that's not an easy thing to do. But when you have this kind of energy signature where you have this much magnetism and attention on you, you're going to have to learn how to reject some people. You're going to have to learn how to say no and to be like, no, I'm not interested, and to turn things down that aren't right for you. And I feel like because you're very loving and kind, like that might not have always come easy to you, because it's like, oh, I wish I could just say yes to everyone and be kind to everyone. But it's like, it wouldn't be kind to yourself to just say yes to everyone. So I just feel like, you've learned a lot about boundaries. I mean, cocoon is its most ultimate form of boundary, right? You might have been really protective of your boundaries in this last phase of your life. You might have been really cocooning and kind of like cutting off from people or situations and things that don't serve you, relationships ending, things like that. And it has really served you, but you are ready for this new chapter. You're ready to step into the light and to be seen. And I feel like you've done a lot of healing work subconsciously to heal parts of you that might have been afraid to be seen and might have been afraid by this power that you have, because this is a lot of power. Like with great power comes great responsibility, group 3. Like to have this much magnetism, it awards you a lot of power. Just like celebrities, right? They have a lot of power and influence over culture. Like they can be like, I buy this brand, and then everyone else goes and buys that brand. It's that kind of thing, you know, where you're kind of going to have the power to influence. And I think that's what your destiny role is, like part of your role. Even if you're just like a creative artist or whatever it is you do as your job or whatever it might be, even if you don't have a job, like whatever, it doesn't matter. It's like your role is to influence. I'm seeing that's really connected to your divine destiny, is you're meant to influence people and influence them positively, to be like, this is what I do. And then people feel naturally inspired. So when I say influence, it's like inspire. You're meant to be inspirational. That's kind of maybe a better word for it. You're meant to inspire. But it is influential, right? And influence can be positive and negative. Like with great power comes great responsibility, because obviously you don't want to influence people in the wrong direction or influence them to do negative things or whatever. And that's why people, I think, get angry sometimes at influencers, because they're like, you're not taking this seriously enough and you're influencing like young people to, I don't know, do something that's damaging to themselves or their mind or their body or whatever. So there's kind of like, I feel like you take your role seriously, and like I said, with great power comes great responsibility. Like when you have this much power, you also have to be responsible for what you're creating, how you're creating, the ripples that you're creating around you, how people are following you and kind of emulating you and feeling inspired by you, and how they're being influenced by your energy. Because you are meant to be an energetic influence, and through that influence, you will inspire, you will uplift, you will motivate, you will empower, you will heal. Yeah, it's really powerful. So you've been preparing for your role as the butterfly in your cocoon. You've been cocooning. Oh, it's been really nice, right? I feel like there's been maybe some of the time you've been like, get me out of this cocoon. But I feel like other times it's actually been really nice and like a gentle thing and a very loving, like self-love. I'm seeing this little cocoon of self-love that you've been surrounding yourself with. I feel like you've been really protective of your energy, having to practice that thing of saying no to people and maybe cutting off from people because, like I said, you're going to have to reject a lot of people, okay? I feel like that's something that isn't talked about as much when you talk about, oh, you're so magnetic, da da da. But it's like, yeah, but if you're this magnetic, then you're going to also have to say no. You can't say yes to everyone. So, and actually, it's more no's than yes. So, you're going to be dealing with it with grace. I've seen you being very gracious and graceful and dealing with it like with a lot of wisdom. Yeah, we have the Hierophant on the back of the deck, as I said that. So the Hierophant is like a divine leader, a spiritual teacher, and the Hierophant has a lot of wisdom. And they also number 5, which is the throat chakra. So it's like I see you having a very empowered throat chakra in this next phase of your life where you're able, like I said, to say no and to say yes to what is right for you, kind of without hesitation, without being like, oh, what if I hurt your feelings? Da, da, da. It's like, it just is what it is. Like, objectively, there are things that are right for you and not right for you. And that's okay. You're allowed to say those. You're allowed to say that you're allowed to kind of be honest and authentic. And yeah, I just see this like wisdom coming through where it's like, you're so more than ready for this role. And some of you as well, some of you might be a little bit more in the reluctant leader category. You know how they say there's like a saying, or like, I don't know if it's a saying, maybe it's not a saying, but there's like a idea that like the best leaders are those who are more reluctant to be leaders because they're not the ones that are like hungry for power and fame and like attention and approval and stuff like that. It's like when you're more reluctant and you're kind of like, am I really meant to do this role? Am I really going to put myself out there? It's like, that's kind of the energy that I'm getting from you, where it's like, you have more of this like inner richness. Like you have a richness in your inner life. Like you are rich in your inner life. You are wealthy in your inner life. You are abundant in your inner life. And so like sharing that with the world is kind of a gift to the world. And I feel there's like a little bit of reluctance as you transition more into this role of like the Hierophant, the spiritual teacher, because I feel there's part of you that's sort of like, do I really have to be the one to like be out there? Do I really have to be the one to like put my voice out there, to put myself out there so much? Or to like, even if you're, I don't know, like a musician or something, it's like Spirit saying you're meant to still tell people like, yeah, but I don't know, I have this meditation routine, or I channel energy as well, or I don't know, kind of like embodying more of like a spiritual or like maybe also a health aspect as well, and like sharing that side of you. Which again feeds into that kind of like influencer, celebrity kind of dynamic. Like that is the archetype that you hold. And some of you might, well, especially because you've come from this cocoon phase, you might have thought for a while, like, am I ever getting out of this cocoon? Is this cocoon like just where I'm meant to be? You might have gotten really comfortable in this cocoon and thought like, surely this is just my life now. And Spirit saying like, no, the cocoon is a phase of your life, but you're meant to be this butterfly and you're meant to be seen by the world, and you're meant to kind of get over any kind of like fears you have around being seen, or like shame around your identity, or shame around, I don't know, it's like, I don't know, like shame, the feeling of not feeling comfortable around being seen kind of thing. Because yeah, you're meant to be kind of like big, bold, and on the stage, and beautiful, and just like a butterfly, like heads will turn. People will try to follow you around and be like, oh my gosh, butterfly, let's go look at it and follow it around. Yeah, you're going to have followers. So obviously, this really relates to if you have social media, but it relates to really anything you do. Like, you can apply it really to anything in your life, because you will embody this role no matter how it comes through naturally and organically for you. And some of you, I do feel, are more introverted, so it's going to be an interesting thing. But again, that just makes you more magnetic though. Like having a rich spiritual inner life makes you very magnetic because, like I said, the best leaders are those who aren't hungry for that power and that fame and that influence. Like, oh, like that isn't magnetic, even though a lot of people can fall for it and like become really infatuated with people like that. That's not true magnetism. True magnetism is where you're more detached from the response that you get. You're kind of doing it for the sake of doing it because it's your divine role and it's your divine destiny. And that's kind of the thing that I feel like you're mastering. So yeah, you're really coming into leadership. Sorry, there's an ad because of my plant that I brought in from outside. You're really mastering leadership, spiritual leadership, your divine role, being seen, stepping out into the light, moving from the cocoon to the butterfly, owning your beauty and your self-worth, and moving from being more of a reluctant leader to seeing, yeah, this is what I'm meant to do. Or like maybe reluctance around being fully transparent about like, yeah, I'm a spiritual being, or I meditate, or I do this thing, or I do this health practice or whatever. And just being like, yeah, this is what it is. I see you being kind of really detached as well. I feel like that's part of your superpower, is like being detached from other people's reactions and not really caring that much. Like I'm seeing you kind of mastering this thing of like not really caring that much. And because of that, people are like obsessed with you. They're like, oh my God, I'm so obsessed with you. And it's sort of funny because when you are really obsessed with how people think about you, it's kind of like, I don't know, you would get really like swept up in the waves of different people have different reactions to you all the time. So I just feel you being really detached and like it's not really impacting your life that much. But because of the detachment, you kind of attract a lot of people who obviously love you. Anyway, so Spirit, what else do you want group number 3 to know? Metamorphosis. It is going to be a big change, group 3. It will be a big change. Yeah, I mean, it will. You're going from the butterfly. You're going from the cocoon to the butterfly. That's a huge metamorphosis. That's huge. You know what I'm saying? Okay, we have the 8 of Pentacles. Again, this is something about your daily life. Something that you do every day to heal yourself. Okay, something that you do every day to heal yourself, or a lot of the time. You do it at least in some kind of consistent routine, like some kind of spiritual practice, meditation, some kind of health routine, diet, exercise, detoxing, supplements, herbalism, alternative health modalities and practitioners, I guess. Something about this you're meant to embody in your leadership, and you're meant to share it as like part of your secret, or you're meant to embody it and kind of be like, yeah, this is who I am, and kind of like own it and make it cool or something. I feel so uncool every time I say the word cool, but it's like you're meant to kind of like make it cool. Like you could do it and people would be like, that's so cool. Like you could make eating salads cool. You could make eating healthy cool. You could make I don't know, meditating cool, where it's like, you know, a lot of the time people hear about that stuff and then it's like, whatever, that sounds so boring. I'm not interested. And it's like something about the way you embody it though makes that feel so magnetic for people, makes that feel so incredible and so like appetizing. So there's something here definitely about your work, your role that you're moving into, and how you're going to be kind of like seen by the world around you. Let's pull one more about this, Spirit. How group 3 is going to be seen. I keep getting that. You're going to be seen. You're in the light. Wow. Death. Literally another metamorphosis card. Wow. You're really moving out of an old phase of your life into a new one. And I feel like you're not even going to know yourself a little bit, because you're moving from like the cocoon. And actually now I'm getting, it's like the cocoon has been nice because it's served you for a long time. But once you're the butterfly, you can't stay in the cocoon. Okay. Imagine if a butterfly tried to stay in the cocoon, they would die. They would literally die. Death. Like it would destroy you at a soul level. So it's like at some point in this next chapter, like you will be thrust out of the cocoon when it's time, and you'll be pushed out and you'll fly. And there's something here about like you can't stay in the old cocoon, because the old cocoon will not be like a nice place for you anymore. It won't be somewhere you can grow. It won't be somewhere you can spread your wings and fly. So there's a lot of change coming into your life in this new chapter, and it's like you're kind of reaching a form that you've been working towards for a long time. You've been working towards this form, this version of yourself for a very long time. A very long time. Whew. And you're reaching it and you're embodying it. And I think for a lot of you, this is your career really taking off and you being really visible. Okay? Justice. Yeah, look, there's things that you've been working towards. Spirit kept talking about this. There's things you've been working towards. Like you might really know what I'm talking about. It could be subconscious healing. Like as simple as that kind of thing. But for some of you, this is literally like more about some kind of a health routine or some kind of an alternative healing modality, something about healing, health, healing your physical body, your, your spiritual body, whatever. And then somehow sharing that with the world and being kind of the embodiment of that healing. And I see people just being so obsessed with you and being like, oh my gosh, you healed this. This is amazing. This is a long time coming as well with Justice and the Eight of Pentacles. Again, something you've worked for a long time to become this butterfly. Like, you've earned this, and Spirit wants you to kind of enjoy every moment of it, and make sure as well that you, again, keep your boundaries. Keep your boundaries, okay? You don't need the boundary of the cocoon anymore, but you will still need your boundaries, because I'm just seeing so much energy coming for you. Like, I keep getting the image of like when celebrities get like mobbed by paparazzi and fans, and like some of you might be that level of celebrity, but even if you're not, like, it's that kind of energy. It's like, what does that symbolize? You know what I mean? It's like people kind of being obsessed and kind of putting you on this pedestal. And I think, again, like, you're going to kind of be very grounded with this level of magnetism that you have, where you're kind of like, I just feel you very detached. Like, you're not like getting a big ego or an inflated sense of self because of this reactions. If anything, you might sometimes find it slightly inconvenient, but I think ultimately, like, please don't take this negatively, because you will find your groove with the Hierophant. Like, you're going to feel really empowered and in your power, and your throat chakra really strong to kind of be like able to set really strong boundaries. Like, boundaries are your friend, okay? Moving forwards, boundaries are your friend, because you just have the kind of energy archetype where people flock to you and they're magnetized to you. And instead of resisting it and being like, oh, I'm cursed with this energy, it's like, no, it's a blessing. And you just have to learn how to use it properly. You just have to learn how to embody it so that it blesses you, so that it blesses you in your life and you can make use of it, because it's part of your divine role. Like, this is the energy signature that you are here to hold, that you are here to be seen in, that you are here to share with the world. And I feel you're meant to share more about yourself than you realize. That's the other message that's coming through, is like, even if you're an artist of some kind, I don't know, whatever it is that you do for your job, whatever, people are definitely going to ask you. They're going to be like, what's your beauty routine? What's your workout routine? How do you get your hair like that? What do you eat? Like, what brand do you buy? What thing do you do? And Spirit's saying, like, to whatever extent you feel guided to share intuitively, you're meant to share. You're meant to be like, yeah, well, this is what I do. This is what I do. And the thing is that it's going to influence people really positively. And it's like people who would never have meditated suddenly meditating. And they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so inspired by this person. I'm going to start meditating. I'm going to do it. Or they would never have eaten healthy. And then they get inspired by you. And they're like, you know what, I'm going to start eating salads or whatever. And I just feel this being like a really positive thing that you can do. Or you normalize spirituality more, like, so that it's not seen as like such a weird thing. It's like you make it cool. You make it like kind of trendy. And that's part of your influence and that's part of your role. So don't be afraid of who you are. Like, I see you're meant to share it and be authentic. And this change is drastic, okay? So it might be a little bit of an adjustment period, like I said, moving from a dark room into the sunshine, and your eyes kind of like burn and you're kind of like squinting around like, what is this? But trust that when that happens, when this big shift happens and you're kind of like thrust out of that cocoon, that it's time. And you can't live in that cocoon anymore. That cocoon would no longer serve you. That cocoon would harm you if you stayed in it. So be grateful that you've finished that phase, that cocoon phase, because you get to be the butterfly. It's amazing. And look, you're going to be loving it. You're going to love being the butterfly. You're going to be feeling beautiful. You're going to be feeling confident. You're going to be feeling like, I know what I am here to do. I know my divine role. And you're going to feel like you know how to handle this level of magnetism and eyes and attention. All right, group number 3. You are an amazing soul. I really hope this reading resonated for you and helped you. I really feel for you. You might want to check out my tape, Metamorphosis, right? Because you chose a Metamorphosis one. And really, for your group, I really felt that energy of the cocoon to butterfly kind of transition, more so than any other group. So yeah, all the information and the link is in the description box below. You can go read up about it and see if it's right for you. But I really would recommend that one if it calls to you. And I'm just sending you so much love. Take care.